Hi everyone, welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. We're going to be doing something a little bit different here. I'm not quite sure what this is. I thought it was going to be a soul path reading, but I feel like these messages stand on their own. This morning I was called to a piece of writing. It came back into my awareness that I had done back in October of 2021. I had experienced something very difficult, something very challenging, something even very traumatic that I spent a lot of time healing and growing from. And after I experienced this circumstance, after I experienced the situation, I felt very lost, very confused as to why I was experiencing this, and very just like I was in a void. This was part of my healing. This was part of my journey. And now that I'm at this point where I feel like I'm a very different person, I've grown so much and I've evolved so much and I've changed and expanded so much within myself, it's like I can look back at that situation and I can see why I experienced that and the difference between now and then. I can also see that when sometimes along our journey, we have certain circumstances and situations that come up that feel very familiar to us. This could be old relationships, it could be old circumstances, old situations, and it's like, oh my gosh, why am I experiencing this again? Why am I seeing this again? Why am I going through this again? For me, I had that experience back this winter when I realized I was relapsing in illness. But something was different about it. I felt that old familiar trauma come back up again because I'd experienced 2 relapses before. But those energies, that experience in the past was survival mode. And as I was going over the test results with my doctor, I could feel a sense of relief pass through me, a sense of peace pass through me. And I knew that no matter what I was experiencing with my physical health, I knew that I was in a very different energy and that I had become a very different person. And as such, I was not going to experience the set of circumstances in the same way that I experienced it in the past. I felt more faith-filled, I felt more optimistic, I felt more hopeful. And even though in the past I was like, yes, I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through it. I survived once, I can survive again. This energy now was not about survival. This energy was about wellness. This was about faith. This was about embodiment. Your ascension journey is about embodiment. And that's part of your transformation. You might have certain experiences, you might have certain circumstances, certain situations that really test you, that really put you through the ringer, that really have you question your journey and have you questioning yourself. But it's about how you are applying all those tools and all of those resources and all that learning and all those experiences that you've had along your journey. How are you applying that to these circumstances now, to your present circumstances? For me, I had to accept, okay, this is where I am. I'm experiencing a relapse, but I also knew that I was different. I also knew that it wasn't going to be the same as it was in the past because I made that conscious choice. I'm not learning through pain anymore. I'm going to learn through the energy of love. Your ascension journey is about your integration. I've said this before, it's very easy to sit out in the woods and meditate, or to be in your workspace or your sanctuary and feel very connected to God, to yourself, to your brothers and sisters, to the world, to feel that sense of unity consciousness. But when you are at the grocery store, or when you are in a parking lot, or when you are, especially with your most intimate connections, your romantic relationships, your family, your friends, are you applying those practices? Are you applying who you've become? Are you embodying that new version of yourself, that higher version of yourself, that higher understanding? There's a difference between the intellectual and the feeling, the integration, the transformation within. That's what we call embodiment. And for many of us, when we first start our ascension journey, we are doing the act of healing. We're doing the journaling. We're doing the meditations. We're doing the exercises. We're doing the studies. We're consciously shifting our awareness. We're consciously shifting our mindsets, our beliefs. We're very much aware of new concepts, of new understandings. This is all the gnosis of your spiritual journey. But your embodiment is where your true ascension takes place. How you embody that, all those tools and all those resources and all those learnings and all the understanding, it has to be integrated, it has to be felt. And once it's embodied, once it's felt, that's how you know that you've shifted into what I call the higher heart ascension. It's the next level of your journey, and often that requires the deepest level of surrender. A layer and level of surrender that you might not even be able to consciously or intellectually fathom, because it must be felt. You can intellectually understand concepts and topics and learning, but it's about the integration. It's about who you become, how you practice that compassion, how you embody that love, how you express yourself and present yourself. And when I say present yourself, I don't mean with that mask. I mean how you present yourself by who are you? Who is the true, authentic version of you, and how do you share that with the world? How do you show up in the world? That's what embodiment is all about. So I want to share two pieces of writing as a layer of contrast that might help you along your journey depending on where you are. You can use this if you're going through a little bit of a dark night or a challenging time. You can use this to recognize that you are not alone, that we all go through this, and that there is something on the other side, that this is part of your transformation, and allow it to be part of your transformation. Allow yourself to surrender, allow yourself to embody and integrate everything that you're experiencing, because that experience is part of your evolution. Or you can allow yourself to use this and look back and say, oh my gosh, this is where I was and this is where I am now, and I can feel the difference in my own energy field, and I can feel the difference in that version of me versus this version that I am now. You're still going to be you. You're still going to be you. You're just going to be a higher frequency of who you are. That's what your embodiment is. You're not changing every aspect of yourself, but you are releasing the old versions of yourself, the old templates, the old beliefs, the things that don't resonate anymore. You're releasing the old habits, behaviors that are not in alignment with your true nature, with your true soul. That's what embodiment and integration is all about. You're becoming a higher version of yourself. You're more in alignment with your higher self. That's what true consciousness shift is all about. It's not just intellectual, it's about the embodiment. So I'm sharing two pieces of writing. The first one came in October of 2021. But interestingly enough, the second that I'm going to share was written in 2019. The second piece of writing is a conversation that it was almost like a story that was playing out for me, like a scene in one of my novels. It was like a vision that I was having. And it's a piece of writing that I had with Jesus, Yeshua, that I feel is really appropriate. As I was sitting down to do this, I heard the phrase, "This is how you're called to rise." And what I understand now through this channeling is your embodiment is how you're called to rise. Again, you can have your intellectual awakenings, but it's how you truly embody that energy that is a true testament to your ascension, and allow that to be a process, allow that to be a transformation. Your transformation is a part of your ascension. It's a part of your evolution. So without any further commentary, I'm going to share both pieces of writing. Okay, so the first piece of writing was, again, when I was going through a difficult time. I feel as if my inner world has entirely crumbled this past week, and while my conscious awareness has a sense of clarity and understanding that this is all about continued transformation, my human self can't stop crying and feeling the tremors of trauma, past and present, all layers I've been diving deep into and healing for the past 4 years. I'm left with an egoic why. Why am I here again? Why am I feeling like all the work I've done on myself has been for nothing, if I'm thinking these thoughts and feeling these feelings? A part of me wonders if I know what to do to continue to heal and shift this. A part of me, the faith-driven part of me, already feels the healing taking place. I feel timelines collapsing all around me, but all I can do is sit in this grief. It's a strange sense of dualistic thinking, like I'm literally split into two. I don't understand why I'm experiencing this now. I'm questioning my journey thus far. Have I really been healing all this time, or have I just been fooling myself? Have I really embodied higher octaves of love and become my own favorite person, or am I just in self-denial, and I'm really a terrible person. I feel like I'm fighting with myself, even questioning the worth of this journey and ascension as a whole. I feel like I have no choice but to be here and accept while I'm constantly connecting and praying to God for this to shift. I'm not sure why I'm sharing, maybe for support or encouragement or just to feel not so alone. This whole journey I've faced some of the deepest aspects of myself, but I've always understood why I was experiencing and feeling what I was. Not now. I feel lost and in a void right now. All I have to cling to is my faith in God. I've realized this week I need nothing but that. It's what's getting me through. I feel like I'm barely getting through. So this next one is one that I was reminded of as well. And I was reminded of immediately after writing that. This is the conversation with Yeshua, Jesus. Why do you think people give up? He asks me. I don't want to have this conversation. I want to shut down, just listen to music and read my book and put this whole journey out of my mind. I can feel his smile more than I can see it in my mind. It's gentle, kind, patient. You know that's not possible, dear one, he says. It's because they're tired, I answer, a little bitterly. It's because they don't want to be in pain anymore. I don't say what I really want to say. It's because they've been tested and tested as they've broken down again and again. And how many times are we meant to rise? How many times are we meant to build ourselves back up? How many times are we meant to hear about the blessings when the heart is hurting in this moment now? I don't say this, but he knows. Of course he does. He waits for my surrender. I lean back against the couch cushions and sigh. I feel defeated, but I know what he's going to say. This is just a moment, that I'm transforming, healing, ascending, that he's so proud of me, that tomorrow will be better. But I don't need tomorrow, I need now. It's because they don't turn to me, he says finally, and his words surprise me. They shouldn't, but they do. You think you have to carry the cross all on your own, but that's not why you were created. That's not what you're here to experience. That was my job. Put down the weight of all you've been carrying. The time of self-punishment is over. I am here as I've always been to lift you from your burdens. People give up, he continues, because they think they're alone. They forget to reach out to others, to me. And in their solitude, they forget the strength of their own heart, the power of spirit that they themselves wield. They forget, so lost in their humanness, how connected they are to everything around them. Most of all to each other. Most of all to me. I don't know what to say, but I don't have to say anything. He smiles gently, brushes my hair from my forehead, and places a kiss there. Tomorrow will be better, dear one, he promises, but don't give up on this moment now. This is where you are. This is where I am. This is where you'll begin to rise again. I'm sending you all so much love and so much light.